Everyone says stand up for what's right until it actually costs you something. There are some people in the world that will stay quiet to choose safety and to protect their family and themselves. And then there are some people out there that will speak up, they will stand up, knowing that there is some risk involved in speaking up for whatever their stance is or belief is or their story. And the thing is, right, that both of them are so real. But what I don't want us to do is I don't want us to lie to ourselves about it. This could be you staying quiet in a relationship that is abusive. This could be also an ideology or a belief system that your parents have given to you, handed over to you as a child. Use what I'm saying depending on your own specific circumstance. When we choose to stay silent, we basically are choosing safety because we don't want to confront the demon. We want to remain safe. We want to remain comfortable. Maybe we have kids involved. Maybe there's a big cost for this. So you want to protect, and that is totally okay and normal. Now, if you're somebody who chooses to speak up, you're choosing what feels right and what is aligned to your spirit, to your soul, and you don't need anybody or some sort of education or knowledge to know whether or not something is right or wrong. We all have a conscience, and we all know deep down inside what is right and what is wrong. The issue here arises when there is fear on top of that. So when you have a conscience, but I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Conscience. Okay. When you have that, we all have it. What happens then is when fear is overruling your conscience and you're behaving because you're afraid, if I don't act this way, then this XYZ is going to happen. Unfortunately, for many of us, our parents or the belief system that we have been given, maybe even our school system, relationships, I can go on, I can make a list. It is operating out of fear, right? If you do this, I'm going to do this to you, or this is a loss that you're going to face. So as a human being, you don't want to face those. You don't want to lose anything. You just want to be comfortable and safe and protect yourself and your family. But what we all fail to recognize, and I did for a very long time, is no matter which side you choose, if you choose the side of being right and speaking your truth versus you're somebody who likes to stay silent and you don't stand up for what you truly believe is correct, and you're standing up when there's harm being done to yourself and other people, what happens is it comes with a cost. There is a cost that we all have to pay. But I mean, if you just hear people and you do your own research, that is why I always tell people, including I'm going to tell my daughter when she grows up, do your own research. You figure out what you truly believe in. I'm just going to, explain to you what worked for me. That is why I always tell people to decide for yourself what you truly believe is true for you. What do you think a relationship looks like? What do you feel God means to you? What makes you feel safe in your body? And this is why I always tell people to ask questions, to question your relationships, question your beliefs, the systems, all of that. And as soon as there is a bit of hesitation or a bit of manipulation, deception, demonizing what you're asking, as soon as you feel that energy, what that really means, I mean, this is just my opinion personally, is that the foundation of that thing, that entity, whatever we're talking about, whatever scenario it is not, the foundation is not based on truth. It is based on a false narrative in order to control you, in order to make you do things in the name of whatever. And I was in so many different relationships where I knew that something that he just did, something was wrong about it. I don't really feel good about it. And I would ask questions. I would want to fix it. But when that person tends to make you look crazy or whatever it is for asking questions or just being concerned or let's get some help, then it's, oh, you're that crazy woman and you're nagging me and you're driving me crazy or whatever. A lot of that, again, is fear-based, because as soon as somebody tends to go at you and reject you and make you feel like crap for asking a question, and especially if maybe you are somebody who is a people pleaser, somebody who lacks confidence and self-esteem, you are the easiest target for people and organizations to just, it's like this. And that is why I believe right now in the world, even though there's, I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but there's a lot of people out there that are they're wrapped in this chaos, in distortion. And then also at the same time, I'm noticing people that are waking up. They might not be speaking their truth on YouTube, but they are seeing things in a different light, and they're analyzing, they are reflecting, they're asking themselves questions. And I think that is your gift as a human being, to ask questions, to do things that are aligned with your soul and not just follow sheep because you have been told to do so. Now, I also wanted to mention that there are some people out in the world that don't speak up because, again, as I mentioned at the very beginning, that could cause damage, or maybe they can even lose their life, or something horrible can happen. Maybe the abuse can get even worse, or, whatever that scenario is. And so they don't speak up. Now, what I want to say to that is it doesn't mean that you're weak and you're a coward. So I just want you to know that. But I do want to say, before I get into what I'm going to say next, is that if you're somebody who's in this, you're living this reality of, deep down inside, this is not good for you or anybody else around you, but you're still in it because you don't know how to get out of it. If you get out of it, maybe something bad could happen to you. My suggestion would be to truly ask yourself deeper questions and get into the why. Why does this feel off to you? Get very clear, like as if you're a scientist and a scientist is analyzing your life, and see, you're analyzing all the things in your life that you feel are causing you to doubt this person, this XYZ. Because sometimes what happens is we just think, like something's off about it, but we never do anything about it because, it's not that bad. Like, we're all okay. You justify it to yourself. So again, this depends on your awareness and all of those things. But my first thing as a mother would be run. But I know that a lot of people are not capable of doing that, not because they're scared, but just because they're not understanding the gravity of what is happening. And so my first suggestion would get clear on what it is that you're finding is making you feel uncertain. What is that? Get clear on that, like very clear. Secondly, I would also mention to then seek some sort of help, guidance, counseling, therapy, whatever you're able to do, where you can talk to somebody about it and explain, hey, this is what's happening and I need your help. What do you think? And just getting somebody else's perspective who is not in your four circles, I think is very important for you to notice that, oh wait, this isn't just me. This person also thinks the same way. And maybe there's a little bit of truth to it. So you tend to gather information, analyze, reflect. And if you know in your heart, and if you're like, okay, this is not good for me and I need to make a different decision for myself, whatever that is, then you have to make a plan of action. But again, the plan of action must not, especially if let's just say, for example, you're in a relationship with a man who's abusive and is harming your kids or, whatever. It can get really dark here. As a woman, it is important to create a plan of action to know exactly what you need to do. And everybody's story is so different. Their circumstances so different. So I don't want to say the same thing for everybody. But if you know that this is harming and damaging yourself, the people that you love, and if you feel like that is the case, then you need to leave. There is no if, but, maybe. No. You have to get yourself out of there. Do you think God created you so you can hush your voice, so you can get abused in relationships, so you can get disrespected over and over again? No. God would never allow that to happen to you. That is not what He created you for. And the sooner that we understand this, the faster we will raise our consciousness. The cost of speaking up can be losing people, losing your friendships, losing your community, losing family members. Maybe they don't want to talk to you anymore because of the decisions you're making in your life. Being rejected, being misunderstood, isolated, losing your reputation as a person you are, losing your identity as who you were and what you stood up for, and now you're doing a complete 180. Also, in certain circumstances, losing your safety, which is one of the biggest things, which is scary for most of us humans, and also your life. It's like, no wonder we don't speak up. That list is so scary for most of us because we are all, if you think about it, created, if you think about the times of being in tribes, that is how we survived. If we weren't part of a tribe, we're going to die. So this is something that is within us. And no wonder it is so scary for us to speak up. Now, the things with staying quiet is more, I would say, when it comes to your morality. It affects your morality. It affects your integrity. It's more to do with your intrinsic values as a human. And I feel like because in this world, majority of us, we don't place so much weight on intrinsic values. It's more about how we look on the outside. Do we look rich? Do we look happy? That's what we care about. So if you're somebody who stays quiet, you then are living in fear. And I've been this person, which is the worst place to be. You're betraying yourself. I've also been this person. You are watching things happen, bad things happen. And you are seeing nothing. You also lose your self-respect, which for me is huge. When you don't respect yourself, it's over. It's done. Because then you most probably will be putting other people up on a pedestal, and these people could literally do whatever the hell they want, and you're not going to stand up because you don't truly respect your voice and you don't value your voice to say something. The cost is that you also lose your voice, which is the biggest thing. Integrity as a person, for me, that is like one of the biggest things that I try to work within myself. And also, if I'm ever looking at start dating ever in the world, which hopefully will happen one day, that's my biggest thing is are you a man of your word? When nobody is watching, how do you actually act? When you see something that is not okay and nobody's around you, do you say something or do you succumb and do you just ignore it? There's also your peace of mind, which for me is a non-negotiable. And this is the biggest one for me. And this is one of the reasons why I ended up getting a divorce, is because when the way that you behave, we think nobody's watching us. Like we think our kids are not they're truly not paying attention, but that's incorrect. Your kids really pay attention to you. Not that I'm perfect. I make all the mistakes and I'm sure I'll hear about it. But when you silence your voice, when you don't speak up for your truth, your kids do the exact same in their relationships. And maybe they won't find an okay, mediocre partner like you did. Maybe they're going to find an abusive man who's going to beat the shit out of them. And then you're going to say, oh, wait, How did you learn this? Who taught you to not speak up? And who taught you to choose somebody like this? Oh, oh, oh. So I really want us to think a little bit deeper and be with yourself and ask yourself these difficult questions. And so your kids learn silence instead of courage, instead of bravery. They're learning to be a coward like yourself. Also, another cost is harm going unchecked. Bad things are happening around you, and I have so many stories. Well, I'm not going to get into it right now, but there's harm that is happening and you're not seeing shit about it because it's just what we all do. So it's normal. And also, you become someone who looks away. Nothing can be worse than that in my eyes. And lastly, living with the regret. Oh, I should have said something. Why didn't I do something about it? And this is how we usually feel when we're about to die, which is what you read in studies. And so your silence not only costs you, which is what we think, oh, me, I'm not going to say anything because it's okay. Like, it's all right. This is just how it is. But it also costs your children. It costs, I don't know if other people care about other kids, but I definitely, I know my daughter, I obviously love her more than anything in this world, but I also care about other kids because in reality, we're all part of the one source. And so other kids get affected. Other women get affected. Your silence costs people who needed somebody to step in, but nobody did. And so I want us to stop thinking that our choices only affect us. They don't. They affect other people. It's like a domino effect. Recently, I have been watching women speak out against abuse, against environments where they were controlled, their kids were hurt, and so on and so forth. There's a list. But these women, they don't have to do that. They don't have to come on YouTube and go on a podcast and talk about it. And so they could have chosen the path of being silent and of protecting themselves. But they didn't do that because standing up for what is right and helping other women was more important to them, mattered more to them, held more weight to them than living in fear. And I believe it all starts with your beliefs, right? What do you truly believe about yourself, about how life works? And some people believe that even when they speak up and their life is in danger, or they might get rejected by their community, whatever that scenario is, God will protect them, even if it costs them everything. And at first, it will cost them everything. It will be darn painful to go through that. There will be a lot of suffering in that. But that only happens once. Because once all that chaos and it's just craziness, nobody wants to spend time with you, you feel alone, you feel isolated, maybe you get rejected, whatever that scenario is. But the sun is going to rise one day. And eventually you're going to get out of it. Eventually you're going to heal. And eventually you're not going to live a life that is based on lies, that is based on fear and deception and control. So my question to you is, what are you willing to risk in your life? Because again, as I mentioned, anything that you choose in your life, there is a cost to pay. Whether you're safe, whether you stand up. What are you choosing right now? And are you willing to make a different decision? Because life is all about the decisions you make, right? So I just hope that this video gives you a little bit of insight, a little bit of awareness, and just to really ask yourself deeper questions, to analyze your life, analyze the people around you, analyze religion, analyze spirituality, analyze your school, analyze relationship. Just look at it. And ask yourself questions. Is this what I want my life to be like? Is this something that I'm aligned with? Does this feel good to me in my body? Am I doing things in my life and making choices based on how I hope other people to see me? Or am I making decisions based on how I truly want to feel and what I want to project out in the world and who I want to help. That's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I want to make more videos. So if you like what you're watching, you're getting something out of it, do not forget to subscribe. And lastly, oh, it's raining a lot here. Wow. Oh my gosh, look how much it's raining. Okay, you guys come over, we can see, never mind. But it sounds really nice. I feel like I'm going to take a nap. Okay. Lastly, if you're tired of choosing people and situations that are costing you your self-respect and you're ready for a relationship and a life where you don't need to shrink in order to be chosen, then I would like you to apply for a clarity session. The link is down below. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one.